everybody. My name is Erin Comninaki. I'm so excited that you are joining us at MoteCon, and I'm even more excited to be part of MoteCon this year. So let's get started in this super fast-paced session on Mote and how you can use it to make your classroom just 1% more accessible. I'm going to show you just a couple newer features so you can up the accessibility in your room just by 1%, okay? We'll reach for the stars, but if we can do 1% better, we're going in the right direction. So what you can see here, and I'm going to point the wrong way. Okay, I kind of got it. What you see here is a one-pager that I've developed. It's all hyperlinked, and I will be sharing it with you. And I just want to go through a couple of the things that I have hyperlinked here about how to use Mote to make your classroom more accessible. So again, I'm framing this through the lens of universal design for learning. So I kind of thought about Mote and how I would use it to have more choice and representation, and how Mote can support action and expression and engagement in my classroom. And I am still in the classroom, so I am using these with kids. And so when I tell you that it's really quick, trust me, it is last minute some of the times. As we know, when we get feedback from students, they don't get something for the next lesson. And so we are creating something on the fly. We don't want barriers to making our learning experiences for students. We don't want to make barriers for them, but we don't want to create more work for us at the last minute either. So we want to do what's best for kids, and Mote allows us to do what's best for kids without eating up too much of our time. So let me minimize myself. I am not the star of the show here. So I want to go through, let's start out with representation. So why I love Mote is because students are able to change to their preferred language, transcriptions, and audio translations. And Mote can also be provided as a scaffold or a pronunciation support for some of our students. So let's see if I can find my cursor here. And let's open up a couple forms and docs that I have. So first of all, there has been a big upgrade in Mote since the last MoteCon, and that is the text-to-speech feature within Google Forms, as well as the translation. So I know that in the past, teachers, when I've spoken to them, they love Mote and they love that they are making their classroom more accessible, but they always say it takes a lot of time to record every question. And then it takes even more time to record every answer choice. Well, that barrier has been completely eliminated with one of the new Mote updates. So you can see here, I have the Mote extension installed, and I have this Google form where I have not used Mote on it. I made a copy of it. It is currently Mote free. Well, let me show you how quick it is. We are like 3 minutes into this session. We're going to be less than 4. So I must have turned it on at some point, but I'm turned it off. This is what it'll appear when you open it up. Text to speech, keeping it in English. Going to turn translation on, and I'm going to add. Now, it will take a second. You know, it's saving it. It's thinking through. It's reading everything here. But what you're going to see up here is this audio Mote icon for every part of this Google form. So while I'm talking this through, Mote is thinking it's going to give me audio for the title, audio for the description, audio for the question on all the answer choices. So you can see here, doesn't look much different on my end. You're like, this did not work. Well, hold on. We're going to click and get that student link. I'm going to open up a new tab and open the student version. And you're going to see those icons that I was just telling you about appear for every part of it. But the great thing is with this new update, it's not just audio. It is that text to speech where the words are going to be highlighted as they're spoken. So you can see, I mean, that barrier has been eliminated for the teacher in terms of time, and you have just eliminated a barrier for students that need audio. That quick. I love this. If I didn't say it already, I love this. Now, I don't know that I changed the setting in this recording, so I apologize in advance if you're going to sit here in an awkward silence for 5 seconds, but I want to play the audio. Even if you can't hear it, what you are going to be able to see is as the audio plays, you'll know it's playing because it's going to highlight the text that it's reading. So I hope you were able to hear that, but if not, you could see that on my end, it was playing, the words were highlighting. So now I've got audio for all that, but I don't know if you saw when I hovered, hold to translate. So you know how I moved the toggle over so that I allowed for translation. So now I'm a student. Up to this point in my little small town, we've got up to 3 languages outside of English in our classrooms. And I know a lot of you are like, 3, Erin, that's nothing. I've got 6. Well, 3 is big for us, and 3 is big for our teachers. Our teachers are just now learning some of these English language skills, multilingual skills, how to teach multilingual students in our general education classrooms. And so if I can teach them a quick tool or a quick trick, it is making their day, and it's making the day of students. So let me hold this down. And you can see I've translated it in the past, right? I translated the original form of this, and you can see it went and it saved it to the copy. So that's why you're seeing it already translated, because I made a copy of the one that I had provided for students. Isn't that pretty incredible? I did not know it did that. So let's say I'm going to translate it. It's going to translate both my transcription and my audio. I'm sorry again if you're sitting in 5 seconds of. So you can see there, both the transcription and the audio now are in the preferred language. So I can now have the same Google form for all the students in my class. And I am now on the general education side of things in the middle school English, but this is my 21st year of teaching, I believe. And this is my first year on the gen ed side. Before this, I was a special education teacher. And do you know how many different Google forms I had to make for all of my students to make sure every student had what they needed or had a preferred language if they needed that. And now this was done, I don't know, what, 2 minutes maybe. And a lot of it is the student learning to use the tool and doing it themselves. So I also just wanted to come back to something that has been around with Mote for a long time, but let's not forget the ways we've always used Mote. Let's continue using them in these great ways. I just took a sentence from that Google form just to have something. And I don't want us to forget about the power of HyperMotes in terms of representation as well. So this sentence here has a lot of vocabulary. And if I highlight something in a Google Doc and then I click on this like hyperlink with a mote, it's a HyperMote. And if I click on it, I can then, all I do is I say the word that I've highlighted perhaps, or I give a definition, or if there's a reminder that I want to provide that student for that word, I click on it. And then students get that HyperMote. Oops, sorry about that. So I can insert it. And this is typically where I would, oh, hold on. That's a me problem. That's not a Mote problem. That's an Erin problem. There are a lot of those. Diverse. So let's keep it simple. Let's do it how I would do it in class. I'm talking all over this thing. All right, so now I have set the word diverse. Students can then, you see it hyperlinked, and students can now hear it. They can also translate it. So if they hear the word diverse, they play the word diverse. Sometimes it is helpful for our students to translate it into their preferred language. And then they'll be like, oh, and they can make that connection between the 2 languages and the vocabulary. So HyperMotes, let's not forget about that. If I go back to my original slide, I've got a couple minutes left. Action and expression, how providing choice to students and how they respond. So let me go to, where do I want to show this? And reflective practice. So first, I guess, let's go to the reflective practice. Oops, sorry. Let me use this template. This is actually on the Mote website, and this is actually the directions. But if I go to the Mote website, I have this Compass Tools protocol. Let's see if I can find it real quick for you all. It's in the learning zone under classroom ideas. Maybe this mistake is great on my part, because now you can see all the classroom ideas that are here for Mote. So one of the things is this thinking routines with Mote. And they're all different types of thinking routines, right? Here we go. But this one is a north, south, east, west. And students can reflect on work. They can reflect on their first interim in a specific class. But what will pop up is a Google slide. And what this can do is allow students to address concerns, explore opportunities, asking for resources, goal setting, whatever you want your 4 points to be, they can be reflective. Now, this was my first year doing we just ended our interims. We are 4.5 weeks into the school year already. And I actually had students complete one of these for how they felt, how English was going so far this year. And some students decided to just type out a response. Other students gave me audio feedback. This was not collaborative. The template that you see here could be collaborative, where students you can make this collaborative or individual. They would add their own Mote. So I think I've got time. I think it's worth opening this up. I just want to make sure that you know how to add the audio to a Google slide. There are tons of great presentations during this MoteCon, and so many experienced educators. I am sure this has been shared with you already, but just on the off chance, when you open up your Google slide and you have that Mote extension, what will pop up is your Mote icon to record the audio. So it's just taking a moment here. So while that is loading, let's not spend more time. I told you this is going to be like a fast pace, right? Oh, there it goes. It's going to just switch on over to something else. So once you open up your slide, you can record your Mote. But you know how I said some students wanted to type? You can also generate. So if I wanted to generate some audio for students, this is a fairly new feature too. I can type in something and generate it. I use this for comment banks when I'm replying to student in terms of feedback as well. I can copy and paste a comment and put it right in and then insert. So I can generate it, or I can dictate, and it will make that little Mote icon and the audio. So it's going to stick it right in here in Google Slides. I only have a couple minutes, so I want to move on to one or two more things in the short time I have. So this is another Google slide and how I'm using it this year. I just wanted to share this specifically because I think it might be a little different. It's different for me in terms of how I've used Mote in the past. So I just wanted to share it with you. I'm really trying to get students to be more reflective. You can see on that protocol, but also in terms of not just how they're feeling about the class or our class community, but also about the standards of learning and where they think they fall in progression, and then where I think they fall in a progression, and kind of having those conferences together. So what students do is they can put a dot where they feel they are within this standard. And then I'm encouraging them to record some audio feedback about why they are there. And then in turn, I will respond to this audio feedback with how I feel. Now, if I had the time, and I've used this now one time with a set of classes, I think what I would do is I would actually have my progression chart. I would have students place their audio, and then I would make a separate location for my feedback down below so that we could see what students were saying versus teachers. Or I would make a bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would have a bar for teachers and a bar for students, if that makes sense. But again, that's all about this continuous loop of feedback, and it provides students choice in how they want to respond and communicate back and forth with the teacher. So I'm going to leave you the link with this one pager here. And I hope you click on some of the links. The Mote Minutes goes right to the YouTube channel. The templates and ideas will take you to the Mote website. There's so much here, and I'm sure you've learned tons already at MoteCon. I hope I have encouraged you a little to see how easy and quick this is and how you can make your classroom just a little more accessible or a lot more accessible for your students. So thank you so much for joining me, and keep on moting.